Shalom, shalom, shalom. All praises to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, which is to say in the Paleo Hebrew, Yahweh, which is the name of our Heavenly Father, meaning He is, Bahashem, meaning in the name, Yahweh Shai, meaning He is our salvation. And that is who the world ignorantly calls Jesus, a so-called black man, all right? And I want to go into a little bit how, as of the beast system is being set up right before our own eyes here in Babylon the Great, America, okay? Because it's going to spread throughout the whole earth eventually, okay? So this is off a website called Benzinga.com, and one of the headlines read, Mark Cuban, who many of you might know from being part of the TV show Shark Tanks, and at one point in time owning the Dallas Mavericks. Well, it says Mark Cuban says closing Social Security offices and ending phone support is just a backdoor way to cut benefits. Calls it horrific for seniors. Okay. Now, this is part of the beast system being what? Being introduced to the mass by the way of what? Taking or making it more difficult for you to what? Maintain and to keep the little bit of benefits that you have. Now, the senior citizens of the day that's getting these benefits, Social Security, and so on and so forth, once they close the offices, especially in these popular cities, and end the phone support, they're going to more than likely send out field agents to come to the doors of these people on the addresses that's claiming to get this Social Security. All right? And what do you know? They're going to eventually send out field agents to administer the mark of the beast, the microchip. Okay? For those senior citizens that don't know no better and want to continue getting their benefits, essentially or eventually, they will send those field agents out to Nana's house, 63, 73-year-old Nana that's been collecting Social Security, Medicaid, so on and so forth, who don't know no better, who's not tech savvy, and they're going to send a bright-eyed, bush-eyed, individual out there that can talk nice to Nana or Papa and tell them, well, we can continue to give you your Social Security and your Medicaid and your Medicare. All you have to do is take this shot, okay? It's best for you if you take this shot. We can continue to help you. We can continue to allow you to keep your house, and you just take this shot, and that's it. We'll come back and check on you every month, okay? We promise we'll come back and check on you every month. You just take this shot. You can keep your Social Security. You can keep your Medicaid. You can keep your Medicare. Okay? We'll even provide for you checkups regularly. You just take this shot right here. Okay? We just have to have your consent. You take this shot. Now, Nana or Papa don't have any family left. Guess what? They're going to take it. Not knowing that when they take that shot, it's administering to them that microchip. Okay? We can keep tabs on you. We can make sure everything is safe here in your house. We can make sure we can send somebody over here to check on you. Oh, baby, that sounds good. I sure haven't had anybody come over here in a long time to see me. I sure would like something like that. Bam. They done got chipped. Just that easy, man. Okay, so the infrastructure of this beast system is being put into place right before our very own eyes, man. All right, and it's going to prey on all. Okay, see, this beast has no picks and chooses. He don't care if you're young, old, man, or woman. Okay. Oh, you want to come in and have your baby in one of our hospitals? Well, you have to have the access to enter into one of our buildings, our facilities. You have to have that chip inside of you. You see? So yeah, it may start out with the old. Because why? They're more likely to resist. But if you take away their support in the form of closing buildings and ending what? Phone support? It's not good enough that when you call somebody on the phone, you already have to talk to an automatic teller machine. But now they want to end that altogether. Send out a real person. Let's do some field investigation. Let's send them to the houses that say, see, this is all part of DOGE, Department of Government Efficiency, spearheaded by Elon Musk. Now, I don't know it's claims that he's stepping down, but it was spearheaded, it was brought forth by him to what? Have more efficiency in the in the departments of government to what? Save the people money. Okay? So now they're going to use that money that they save and what? Put field agents out in the field to what? Verify whether or not these people that's claiming and receiving Social Security is what? A, either still alive, or B, are even real. Okay? So how much more is it to equip a field agent to administer the mark of the beast? While you out checking on these residents, while you out checking on the senior citizens, go ahead and administer them the shot, the jab. I mean the chip. Okay? So you see how the transition is being put into place. They're not outright taking away the Social Security, the benefits. They're just making it more difficult to come by. You have a slip up, you can't get to one of the offices. You might have to drive to the next town. You are already a senior citizen on a fixed income. How are you going to get there? Well, we'll just send a field agent out there to you. Don't worry. We'll send a field agent to build a rapport with you. So now you feel like this person that you've been talking with for the past however long before they switch over to the new digital system is your friend. You see? You already know Nana and Papa ain't had nobody to talk to in weeks and months and years probably. Now they done build a rapport with this person to the fact that they think they part of, their family, man. Oh, he come out and check on me. Because I remember my grandma, man. There was a program called Meals on Wheels. They'll come out here, they'll bring you food, they'll talk with you for a while. You'll feel like they actually care about you, okay? But in all actuality, it's just a program, man. Okay? It's claimed it's a program for the senior citizens, but hey, we gonna come to find out, you're gonna come to find out to realize that this system is anything but what it says it is, man. It's always an agenda behind something that somebody does for you, okay? So they come out there, they build a report. That's for what? To get you to lower your guards, man. You don't think somebody would do something so sinister to you if they come out there every day or every week or every month and sit down and talk to you for 5 or 10 minutes or 15 minutes? You start to open up to them more, And sometimes, our elders can open up too much to the fact that, they can give away their whole life savings, man. You don't know what that person is capable of that's coming out there to seemingly do good for you. They don't vet these people when they give them these jobs. Some of them come out here to prey on the elder, on the old. Well, guess what? They're going to do that same thing when they get ready to bring forth this mark of the beast system, man. Let's go ahead and send out agents to, build up that rapport with the elders, the older people. We're going to cut off the phone support for most of the offices. We're going to do away with most of the Social Security offices. We're going to have to send somebody out there to check up on these people, man. Okay? And there's nothing to send 100 or 200 field officer agents out there to check on the places where they closing down the Social Security offices in let's say a 10 or 15 mile radius, man. You might only supposed to have 20 people in that 15, 20-mile radius. That's nothing for 100 field officers, okay? And we're going to get that in an article in a little bit. So it says, Mark Cuban says closing Social Security offices and ending phone support is just a backdoor way to cut benefits, calls it horrific for seniors. It says Mark Cuban is calling out the federal government and he's not holding back. Now, who knows why he's calling out the federal government, okay? Is it because he's actually concerned about the senior citizens? Or is it because he probably know that they're going to come for some of his businesses? So you never know with these higher ups, man. What's the reason behind their calls? It says, in a blunt post on Blue Sky, the billionaire investor said what many seniors may soon be thinking. What does he have in common with the average everyday senior? Okay? He's a billionaire. All right? He's a billionaire. I guess because, he's bringing this out to the light. That shows his what's the word I'm looking for? His compatibility with human suffering, I guess, if you can say. It says the administration is removing phone support for Social Security. The administration is removing phone support for Social Security recipients, making it more difficult for seniors to get their checks. It's a backdoor way to cut SS benefits. Horrific. Cuban's frustration comes in response to a sweeping overhaul of Social Security operations by Elon Musk and the Department for Government Efficiency. The agency says it's cracking down on fraud. You see? So they cutting back on the offices and the phone support, man. All right. They're gonna probably, like I'm gonna bring up, start sending out field agents. Okay. It says, citing claims that tens of millions of deceased individuals are still receiving payments. Okay? No phone, no office, no check. All right? Let me get that out the way. Among the most controversial moves, eliminating phone support and shutting down dozens of Social Security offices. In short, if seniors want to access their benefits, they'll need to go online. Now, how many of you know senior citizens to be tech savvy where they can go online, especially if they don't have any, younger relatives? That's like telling a baby to get in the car and drive, man. That sounds fine until you consider the reality. Many elderly Americans don't have reliable internet access, don't use smartphones, and wouldn't know where to begin with a benefits portal. Some don't even have transportation to reach the nearest Social Security office, especially now that so many are being shut down. So we can see the play being put into place. What happens to a 78-year-old who lives alone and can't get to the next county? Just ask a question in person. Or someone who's never sent an email being asked to upload income documents online just to keep their check. Make grandma and grandpa finally get online to confirm their payments. Cuban wrote sarcastically in a post on X last week, expressing concern over the topic. Gotta give Doge credit for being the first to cut entitlements, he said. So we can see the infrastructure is going to affect everyone, small and great, rich and poor. All right. You're going to have to acquiesce to this system. All right. If you want to continue to receive its benefits. And like I said, more than likely, if they can't, they'll send an agent out there. All right. They'll probably do some checkups to see who's living at these addresses that's, claiming to be receiving Social Security. And if it don't add up, they'll send someone out there and figure out things and figure out whether or not that person is alive, deceased, lives there, still alive, whatever. And if they're there, they'll set them up and get them, online to receive the benefits. And then eventually they'll be there to transition over from online to what? In person taking the microchip. All right? So let me grab a couple more articles, then we're going to get a few precepts. As you can see, I wrote closing Social Security and ending phone support. And these are some of the articles that came up. Okay. So let's go to this last one over here. Social Security cuts phone services and bid to address fraud. Social Security's cut phone service and bid to address fraud. The Social Security Administration will implement cuts to phone service in an effort to combat fraud, its acting commissioner said Tuesday. Why it matters. Advocates and former agency officials have warned the cost of implementation could cripple Social Security. Let me see if I can find a part where I saw that gave me the idea that they will come out, and send field agents. Give me 1 second. Okay, here it goes. It says, we're spending the next 2 weeks to train our field offices to respond to these changes, Dudek said. Okay, so they're going to train their field offices in these next 2 weeks to handle these responses. It says, let's jump back up a little bit. It says, as Axios reported Monday, changes to phone services were proposed in a memo sent to Acting Commissioner Lee Dudek last week. And early versions of that memo warned of significant impacts for a broad range of benefit recipients. How it works, the changes will be implemented quickly, he told a news conference Tuesday. We're spending the next 2 weeks to train our field offices to respond to these changes, Dudek said. These changes are not intended to hurt our customers. I've made a commitment that we would monitor the situation closely, he added. If it is to the detriment of the citizens we serve, then we'll take necessary actions. If that means backing out of the policy, then we'll back it out. But we need to see what the results are. It's not clear by what measure results would be judged by the numbers. Dudek said the agency sees about $100 million a year in direct deposit fraud. And you think they're going to give that money to the citizens that they, save by checking to make sure whether or not fraud is being committed? No, that's going to more than likely be lined up in their pockets. It says, yes, but advocates and former agencies officials previously told Axios changes like these will curtail phone support for critical Social Security services, including when applicants first sign up for benefits. The agency has already announced plans to cut 12% of its workforce and to close field offices, even as benefit recipients report delays in getting help with claims. And agency data shows backlogs. So it's going to be pretty difficult for you moving forward, for you baby boomers that's looking to retire in the next few years to get your Social Security, to get it up and started. It's going to be a hurdle, man. Okay? Depending on whereabouts you stay at, it's going to be a hurdle. All right. Between the lines, the pressure to tighten fraud controls came from Doge. Okay. Let me go back to this other article. This is Social Security. Click Orlando.com. It gives a scenario. It says, on Monday, a 63-year-old woman from Orlando called News 6 for help as she has tried for over 10 days to get in contact with anyone from Social Security. So I guess this is a real incident right here. She said she waited over 2 hours each day to get connected with someone before giving up. Meanwhile, she said her other solution was going to the nearest Social Security office, but she said she was turned away and told she needed an appointment in order to go inside. She is not alone. A News 6 investigation in December 2024 revealed a significant customer service crisis with the Social Security Administration. The Social Security Administration told News 6 that the office has been chronically underfunded and staffing was continually declining. Meanwhile, earlier this month, Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency, as part of the Trump administration, announced it is set to close dozens of Social Security Administration offices across the country. All right? So it's going to be made difficult for the seniors to remain and to go moving forward to get their Social Security, to collect their their Social Security. All right? But it's just all part of the beast system. Okay? Gonna make it difficult, and then they're gonna come with a more convenient way that you don't have to worry about all this technological type of stuff. You just take that microchip and it's gonna make it easier for you. All right? So let's go there and all right, this is Revelation 13 and 16. And it reads, and he causes all. Who is the E? Who is the he? Esau, Edom. All right, the so-called white man. Okay, remember Deuteronomy 28 and 50. It says that what? A fierce nation. Okay, it was that fierce nation. These Edomites, man. It says Deuteronomy 28 and 50, which is part of the curses. Let's read it. It says, a nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young. All right? They're not going to care, man. This is a fierce nation. This is who the Most High has risen up in these last days to execute his judgment, man. All right? So they're not going to care if you're old, if you can't, make it down to the Social Security office, if you can't figure out how to get online and fill out a form to show your income. If you can't, they're going to cut your Social Security off, man. All right? They're going to cut your benefits off. All right? And then the only way you're going to get them, they're going to say, well, you're going to put your hand out and you're going to have to get this microchip. What is that, baby? See? They ain't going to care about if you don't know what it is. They're going to tell you, if you want your benefits and to continue to receive your benefits, just take this chip inside your hand and everything will be all right. Miss Tanya, Mr. Gerald, you take this and you're going to get everything. They could care less, man. You see? Deuteronomy 28 and 50, it says, a nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young. That's what we read, Revelation 13 and 16. And he, who is he, that fierce countenance of nation? Esau, Edom. And he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor. Small if you just been born, great if you been here for a while. Okay? Rich if you getting money, poor if you ain't got money. You're going to have to get this. Free and bond to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Okay? You will take this if you want to receive benefits. All right? If you out here in the free world, you're going to take it. And if you out there locked up You want your commissary, anything else, you're going to take it. All right? It says, and that no man might buy or sell. That goes for women and children as well. That's all under the head of the man. Save he that had the mark or the name of the beast. You're going to have to take that chip. They're putting it into place, okay? Abaratasa, Father will. You see? Today is Social Security. Tomorrow is your job, okay? You see? It says, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 600, 666. 666. Chi Psi Stigma. All right, go into that word stigma. It means to prick. They're going to make an incision inside of your skin. They're going to prick it, and then they're going to put with that hypodermic needle the microchip in your hand, or they're going to put it in your forehead. All right? You senior citizens, you will be able to continue to collect your Social Security or whatever else benefits you have. And those that aren't senior citizens that are in the workforce, you'll be able to continue to work at your jobs for however much longer before those are made obsolete by the AI. And then you'll be on a fixed income, okay? You'll be on a fixed income where you will receive Social Security-like benefits every month, all right? You don't think this just is going to affect the senior citizens. No, it's going to affect everybody, okay? They might just use them for a trial before they bring it to the whole, workforce, okay? And then eventually they'll fade out everybody in the workforce by what? The way of AI, okay? And then guess what? You'll be right sitting alongside Papa and Nana getting that UBI, Universal Basic Income. Just like Nana and Papa getting that Social Security right now, you'll be getting that, and you'll like it, okay? You'll be eating your burgers and everything else that's associated with this beast system, and you'll like it, you see? You think Nana and Papa is just going to start and end with them? No, okay? They seeing how much pushback they getting from cutting some of the offices and cutting phone support, and seeing how the senior citizens is going to react, and whether or not they got, relatives that's going to stand up and fight for them. Because why? They know they're going to bring that to what? The younger crowd, okay? Those in their 30s, 40s, and 50s, and dare I say 20s in the workforce, okay? And then eventually you're going to get phased out by what? AI, alongside with robots. Oh, we're downgrading this week. We're going to cut 100 of you guys' jobs. We don't need you. Here's your severance. How am I going to get that severance? You're going to have to go down to your nearest station and get microchipped up, man. Okay? It's coming. Make no mistake about it. All right? That's why we're going to close out with 1 Peter 5:8. And it tells us to be what? Be sober. Be vigilant, okay? Because your adversary, the devil, that fierce nation, that with that countenance, they're not playing. These Edomites ain't playing, man. Okay? And so much that I got an article where the Chinese, Moab, is already testing out their brain implants. Yes, Moab. All right? They got their test trial for their neural brain plants going on right now. That fierce countenance nation, man, these Edomites, hey, everybody is going to get on board with that beast system, all right? Make no mistake about it, okay? So it says, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. Okay, he's walking because he already knows the outcome. We're going to start with the senior citizens. We're going to take their benefits because none of them probably have any people that come over and check on them. You got to look at it. Esau is diabolical, man. Let's start with the senior citizens. Let's strip them. We know for the most part, majority of them don't have family members that care about them anymore. Majority of them are in senior citizen homes. They won't see it coming. They too busy with their careers and jobs to care about their nana and papa. They barely come check on them. They barely come check on them at the senior citizen nursing home. They got them inside the nursing home. That goes to tell you they don't really care about them that much. Because why? They too entangled with their careers. So let's take away their Social Security. Let's use a backdrop as fraud, as to not draw too much attention to what we're doing. And then once we got them, we'll go down to the workforce, where the heart of the people are at. When you got people from 20, or dare I say, their late teens all the way into their 40s and 50s working, that's trying to establish and obtain that American dream, aka nightmare. We'll introduce the system to them by the way of what? Integrating AI and robots into the workforce. Put a little fear in their heart, showing that their job isn't safe. Their job can be taken. Whether it's the truck industry, the transportation industry, with our autonomous vehicles, whether it's the warehouse industry, hell, whether it's the medical industry. Surgeons, lawyers, nothing is safe. Okay, he causes all, both small and great, free and bond, rich and poor. His whole system is coming. Okay? If you ain't being what? Sober and vigilant, you ain't going to see it till you get caught off guard. You come into work one day and they saying, well, today is the day we're switching over. We have the chipping station set up in the back out there. And if you want to work, and if you want to get your last pay, let's say you don't want to work. Well, you want your last check, you have to take this chip. You want your severance package? Well, we have to put this chip inside of your hand. What do you mean I got to take this chip in order to get my last paycheck? You can't send it to me on my phone? No, we done switched over already. What you gonna do? Let's say they say your severance is $30,000. You gonna let that $30,000 walk because you don't want to put your hand out and get that microchip? You see? Let's say your severance is $100,000. Let's say your pension is $100,000. You gonna let that go? You gonna be willing to let all that go? For majority, shall I say, they gonna say, no, I want all that. I'm gonna take that chip. I'm gonna continue to work, man. You see? So we have to stay with these scriptures. These scriptures say what? Be sober, be vigilant. At any time this thing could pop off. Because your adversary, the devil, that fierce countenance nation, the Edomites, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. Okay? So stay locked in. All right? All right. So with that being said, pray some more was edified through this lesson. And until the next time, if it be the Lord's will, stay strong, stay in the faith. We almost home. Shalom. Peace.